This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology. The images are for illustration purposes only. Not bad. With Feiyang, one of the four prodigies of the north, here, they have no hope in the martial arts competition, at least, Cui Bo praised. Even if they can't win the championship, they'll at least be able to obtain a good result. The Blade Sect will probably be played by Su Wanson this time, helping the Mando Chamber of Commerce obtain the qualifications to become a permanent member, but not getting any benefits. Ren Guangping was surprised, so the candidate for the skill book is Cui Yuan. Has he also come to Songyue City? No wonder the Vice Tower Master had kept it a secret. With Cui Yuan's help, I believe the first one will be fine. Cui Bo laughed. Don't think too highly of that kid. I'm here to show him the young talents of the Merchant Union. I want him to know that there's always someone better. Ren Guangjuan laughed. You don't mean what you say, Deputy Head. I'm afraid your real intention is to teach those ignorant boys in the Merchant Union a lesson and let them know that there is always someone better. Cui Bo smiled without saying a word. He was obviously very optimistic about his son's strength. Li Feiyang forced a smile and said, Vice Tower Lord is too optimistic. I really don't have any confidence in this martial arts competition. I just hope that Cui Yuan can secure first place. That way, the pressure on me will be much less. Cui Bo frowned and said unhappily, why would Feiyang say that? Could it be that you are not confident in defeating Chen Feng? Don't forget that you're one of the four prodigies of the north, and he's not. Li Feiyang shook his head. I don't dare to speak carelessly about Chen Feng's strength, but since the Blade Sect has agreed to this agreement, they naturally have confidence, maybe it's Yingluo. He stopped and pondered for a while before saying, perhaps the person who will make the Blade Sect fall this time will be the person from Tianyuan Trading Company. Li Yunxiao? He asked. He's indeed strong, but not strong enough to defeat you, Cui Bo replied. Even his teleportation was most likely a similar secret technique. It was impossible for his spiritual power to be at the 8th level. How old was he? Otherwise, it would be too shocking. A secret technique? Li Feiyang smiled wryly. He knew that back in Yufeng City, Yunxiao had managed to repair the interdomain teleportation array that even two 8th-tier alchemy masters could not. Feiyang, don't belittle yourself. You're the banner of 10,000 treasures building and the #1 among the younger generation. The only person who can stop the Blade Sect from entering the Merchant Union is you. This is not only a consensus formed in the Merchant Union, but also in the Blade Sect. Li Feiyang's heart trembled as he solemnly replied, Elders, don't worry. Feiyang will definitely do his best and won't lose face for Myriad Treasures store. Cui Bo nodded. Just do your best. Even if something unexpected happens, you have a clear conscience. Don't give yourself too much pressure. Yes. Li Feiyang replied, and then fell silent. Where's Elder Xian? Ren Guangxin asked. His knowledge has always been sharp and unique, so he might have some good ideas. Elder Xian, Cui Bo said, frowning. You've suddenly announced that you're going into seclusion. It seems like you've reached a critical point in your cultivation. Oh. Then congratulations. Ren Guangsheng said enviously. At their level, every breakthrough was extremely difficult and every opportunity was extremely precious. He himself had stayed in the same place for decades, and he had completely given up. I hope Elder Xian can achieve a breakthrough, Cui Bo said. The meeting is over. Elder Ren, you stay behind. After everyone had left, Cui Bo said, Elder Ran, I'll leave Feiyang's cultivation to you. It's good to use some of your trump cards. You must make sure that Feiyang wins first place. Deputy Tower Master, don't you have confidence in Feiyang? Ren Guangzheng was stunned. Cui Bo's eyes flashed coldly. It's not that I'm not confident, it's that Feiyang himself isn't. Have you ever seen him so unconfident? It's all because of Li Yunxiao. An opponent I've never met has already begun to crush me spiritually. That Li Yunxiao is really not simple. Ren Guangping frowned and said that Li Yunxiao is indeed very strong. He did not even use his full strength when he fought Liang Yui, so no one can see his true combat strength. He will be a formidable opponent for Feiyu. I understand, I will do a good job. Yes, Siyu Aibo said firmly. Feiyu is one of the 4 prodigies of the north. He is the flag of the myriad treasures store. We can't let this flag fall. In the Divine Realm tablet, a flash of lightning filled the sky. At first glance, it was a sea of green lightning, which seemed boundless. All of a sudden, the sea of lightning began to shrink violently and gather toward the center, forming a tornado of lightning clouds. Gradually, a figure was condensed. This feeling is really strong. Yunxiao's face was filled with shock as he muttered to himself, is this the lightning transformation divine technique that has been cultivated to the great completion? I can only fully manifest it in this Divine Realm tablet. I wonder how much power I'll have when I get out. He frowned and muttered to himself, there isn't enough Yiwud Qi, but I have a good idea. I wonder if it will work. I've never seen your ideas work, you better think twice before you act, the demon dragon said disdainfully. I'm still hoping that you'll have a bright future. Don't kill yourself. Shut up. If you say anything inauspicious again, I'll refine you into a starlight soul body. After Yunxiao cursed, he disappeared from where he was and reappeared where Yuan Gaohan was, shouting, Old Yuan, how's your sword training? Yuan Gohan's urgent voice came from below, Li Yunxiao, come and help me. With a thought, Yunxiao appeared next to Yuan Gaohan. The spinning purple gold cauldron was trembling violently, as if it was going to explode at any moment. Not good. I put 2 sword embryos into the cauldron at the same time, and I can't control them anymore. Yuan Gaohan was so anxious that he was sweating profusely. Gu Yuesheng, who was beside him, also had an ugly expression on his face. Your sister. Yunxiao was also taken aback. You've conjured 2 9th-tier mystic artifacts at once. Do you think you're a 10th-tier warlock god? Yuan Gaohan hurriedly replied, the profound level weapons here don't have lightning tribulations. They're missing the last crucial step. So I don't think it matters much. I just want to try. Try my ass. Alchemists are all a bunch of lunatics. Yunxiao cursed, not realizing that he had also cursed himself. He suddenly calmed down and muttered to himself, I can try out my lightning transformation technique. I wonder if it can be used to refine weapons. I can try it out. Demonic dragon, swan and I. As soon as he thought of that, Yunxiao immediately performed an incantation gesture with one hand, and his whole body turned into a thunderbolt. Under the dumbfounded Gaohan and Gu Yuesheng's gazes, he flew down and surrounded the heavenly spinning purple gold cauldron, then poured all the lightning power in his body into it and began to refine it. This Yingluo can do this to Yingluo. After a short moment of shock, Yuan Gaohan immediately became excited and said, Li Yunxiao, I'll help you with the divine flame again. He quickly made several hand seals to draw in the phoenix divine flame, which he then used to burn the purple cauldron. The sizzling sounds of fire and the crackling power of thunder and lightning interwove together, constantly refining the northern heaven cold star sword in the cauldron, slowly suppressing the violent will of the purple cauldron. However, Yuan Gaohan could clearly feel that his purple cauldron was slowly reaching its limit. Whether it was the 9th grade artifact reserve or the divine fire within the cauldron, either was an existence it could withstand. The purple cauldron's spirituality was rapidly being lost, but Yuan Gaohan only frowned slightly and didn't care. The heavenly spinning violet gold cauldron was important, but the heaven-defying refining process was even more important. Right now, he was only worried that this cauldron wouldn't be able to last until the end of the refinement process. Consolidating equipment. Yunxiao's cry came from the purple cauldron. Finally, the entire cauldron could not withstand the pressure anymore. Not only did it let out a sad cry, but a large number of cracks began to appear on its body. Not good. Yuan Gaohan was shocked and shouted. Bang. The heavenly dance rotating purple gold cauldron finally exploded with a deafening sound. A large amount of purple gas dispersed, and the cauldron disappeared completely in an instant. Did I fail? Sheng stared at the mass of purple qi in a daze. He seemed to be a little unwilling. He and Yuan Gaohan had been refining these two sword embryos for a long time to achieve such an effect, but they were destroyed so easily. Lightning condensation. As the purple mist gradually spread out, Yunxiao's cold voice came from within. As the purple mist was gradually driven away, thousands of thunderbolts rose up, and two streams of cold air seeped out of them. It was the cold air of the Northern Heaven Cold Star Sword. Yuan Gaohan and Gu Sheng held back their excitement at the same time and looked over. They saw two swords shining in the sea of thunder, standing quietly in the middle. "I'll get you a better cauldron later," Yunxiao said proudly. "I'll go outside to condense the thunder tribulation and temper the sword shape." As soon as he finished speaking, the lightning wrapped around the two swords and disappeared. Yuan Gaohan and Gu Sheng were both slightly disappointed. They also wanted to see the lightning tribulation tempering the sword, especially Gu Sheng. He had never seen such a wonderful scene before. But they also knew that Yunxiao would not let them go before he recovered to the peak of the martial emperor realm. Fortunately, they had a good time here, and both of them had improved greatly. Even Yuan Gaohan had a faint feeling that he would break through to the 9th level in this divine realm tablet. The various experiences he had during this period of time were great opportunities that were hard to come by in his life. He would not leave even if he was driven out now. He was even a little nervous at the moment. What should he do if Yunxiao returned to the peak of the 9th tier and wanted to drive him out? Gu Sheng's gains were even greater. After learning from Yuan Gaohan during this period of time, whether it was his knowledge, comprehension, or strength, they all continued to advance by leaps and bounds. After sighing with emotion, the two of them went off to cultivate. Yunxiao reappeared in the secret chamber, put away the divine realm tablet, and teleported out of the room. He turned into a bolt of lightning and disappeared from the base of Tianyuan Trading Company, shooting into the distant sky. That was Ying Luo just now. In an instant, several people rushed out and looked at each other, staring at the empty house. Tomorrow is the double meeting. Young Master Yun, you're leaving at this time? What's so important? Young Emperor Hulian asked in surprise. Mo Xiaochuan's voice rang out in the courtyard. Stop guessing. Young Master Yun has just sent me a message. He'll definitely be back before tomorrow. Yunxiang looked at Ding Ling, who was full of worry, and said with a smile, Sister Ling, you're overthinking it. When has young Master Yun ever disappointed us? I'm not worried about young Master Yun, Ding Ling said seriously. He left in a hurry. I don't know if he's in danger. Yunxiang was stunned, and then she became worried. You're really worrying for nothing, young Emperor Hulian laughed. Women, once they fall in love, their intelligence will immediately drop to 0. He shook his head and left with an enigmatic expression, leaving the two girls blushing. You're right, Xiao Huang. There aren't many people in the world who can put young Master Yun in danger. Luo Yunxiang consoled Ding Ling with a blushing face, as well as herself. Sister is right, but there's nothing to worry about. I'm just overthinking. Ding Ling nodded and said. The atmosphere between the two was a little awkward. Everyone knew how they felt about Yunxiao, but Yunxiao had not shown any attitude for a long time. On the contrary, it made the friendship between the two of them better and better. The two of them seemed to be doing this on purpose and began to feel like sisters. Yesterday, I saw a hairpin that was quite suitable for elder sister in a jewelry shop. I wonder if elder sister has the time to go and take a look. Ding Ling said. All right. Luo Yunxiang smiled gently. The two of them left together. On the eve of such an important event, they still had the mood to go shopping. Yunxiao transformed into a thunderbolt and traveled thousands of miles in the blink of an eye, arriving thousands of miles away from Songhua City. It was an empty space, and there was no one in sight. He quickly made hand seals and formed a medium-sized formation with a radius of 100 meters on the ground. Then, he scattered a large number of vitality stones into the formation. Only then did his expression turn serious and a light slowly emerged from his hand. As the light flickered, it gave birth to an endless amount of cold air. The cold light shone on the water, and the entire sky began to surge with wind and clouds, and dark clouds began to gather. The appearance of a ninth-tier profound armament immediately caused a strange phenomenon in the heavens and earth. The thunderclouds in the sky churned and the pressure was shocking. This buy-in. The demonic dragon was shocked. You've set up a thunder-gathering array below you. This will double the amount of lightning and magnify the level 9 lightning tribulation. Do you want to die? You'll really die if you play like this. Yunxiao smiled crazily and said, I'm going to absorb the lightning power of this 9th-tier profound artifact heavenly tribulation to cultivate the thunder transformation divine art and refine my immemorial heaven's eye at the same time. This lightning is the strongest power of the second wood. Crazy, crazy. You're going to harm me too. The demonic dragon cursed angrily. I'm still counting on you to have some future prospects. Yunxiao ignored it and waited quietly for the thunder tribulation to come. The thunder gathering array below seemed to have felt the large amount of lightning power filling the air. It began to operate slowly, emitting a bright green light. A patch of green began to appear between the heavens and the earth. Thunderclouds began to gather in the sky above in a terrifying manner. A large sea of lightning appeared, but it did not fall. The demonic dragon felt the power coming from the sky in a daze. Cold sweat seeped out of his body as he muttered to himself, it's over, Ingluo, crazy, a complete madman, Ingluo. The entire sky was originally dark and lightless, but as the lightning gathered, it began to gradually light up, as if a huge piece of jade was embedded in the sky. It grew bigger and bigger, and the pressure became more and more intense. Yunxiao felt all his hair stand on end as he trembled in horror. You're afraid too. I know you like to mess around, the demonic dragon said. But this time, you've really gone too far. Hurry up and hide in the Divine Realm tablet. He was sharing his soul with Yunxiao, so he could sense the trembling coming from the latter. It wasn't a human's cowardice, but a sense of insignificance in the face of the might of heaven and earth, a drop in the ocean. There was a limit to human strength, but heaven and earth were endless. Yunxiao's faint voice rang out with a hint of extreme excitement as he said, I'm standing between heaven and earth. I'm very happy and honored to be able to feel the endless fortune and the mighty power of the universe. An endless battle intent emerged from his body as he was prepared to fight against the heavenly might. After gathering enough energy, the sea of lightning that looked like a jade disk in the sky finally turned into a shocking thunderbolt and fell from the sky. The thunderbolt was 100 meters thick and dark green in color. Fortunately, it was only green. If it had turned purple, Yunxiao would not have dared to resist it, no matter how heroic he was. Northern Heaven's Cold Star Sword, go. Yunxiao waved his sword, and the Northern Heaven Cold Star Sword in his hand was thrust into the ground. As the thunderbolt of the 9th heaven fell, Yunxiao performed an incantation gesture with both hands, and a green light emerged around him as his body began to turn into thunder. Boom. As the lightning struck, the entire world was enveloped in a sea of lightning. There was nothing else. He wanted to use the lightning of tribulation to make up for the lack of Yi Wood Qi in the lightning transformation divine art and directly absorb the lightning for his own use. When he was transforming into lightning, he felt as if his entire body had been integrated into the lightning. The energy of the world was a part of his body, and it could derive endless essence. However, as the tribulation lightning fell, his body still felt a great shock, as if it was going to be scattered. His body of lightning could not even maintain its original state and began to reveal itself. The power of the thunder tribulation washed over his body, his meridians, bones, causing great damage. His physical body was almost completely destroyed in an instant. After it was condensed, a golden light emerged. The imperishable golden body began to absorb the power of thunder to repair his body, but the speed of its destruction was still too slow. Blood was constantly oozing out of his pores, even his eyes were bleeding. The immemorial heaven's eye on his forehead was mottled with blood. If one looked carefully, there was a small vortex in the heaven's eye, which seemed to be constantly absorbing the power of lightning. Can you really hold on? With a solemn look in its eyes, the dragon kept strengthening Yunxiao's body with its soul power, but it had no effect under the thunderbolt. As soon as the dragon's demonized form appeared, it was immediately scattered by the thunderbolt, leaving only the imperishable golden body to hold on. At that moment, Yunxiao's mind was gradually turning blank, and there was only one firm belief in his mind, which was to never turn back and press forward. On the ground below, thunderclouds covered the vast array. The northern heaven cold star sword was making a very strong ringing sound inside, struggling as hard as Yunxiao's body. Cold air kept spreading out of it, and the sword momentum was rising. A few hundred miles away from the thunderclouds, dense purple patterns appeared in the sky, and black cracks flickered. Soon, a crack appeared, forming a passage. 5 figures slowly emerged from within. They were all dressed in snow-white clothes and exuded a sense of cold arrogance and nobility, as if they were immortals who lived in the heavens. There's such a strong energy fluctuation 100 miles away. Could it be that there's a battle between experts? The person in the lead had a pair of clear and handsome eyes. He wore a wide blue patterned belt around his waist. His face was like a peach flower, and he looked refined and elegant. He raised his jade-like fingers and placed them on his face as he pondered, yes, it's the power of thunder. I can sense it from 100 miles away. That person is so powerful. There were 4 maidservants behind the man, all dressed in white with chiffon and silk scarves draped over their shoulders. All of them had coral flowers in their hair. Some of them were bright and dignified, some were as beautiful as the autumn moon, and some were charming and elegant, but all of them were unparalleled beauties. What was even rarer was that these 4 people had extremely high cultivation. They were all 3-star martial supremes. With her age, her looks, and her cultivation, she would definitely be a proud daughter of heaven anywhere on the continent. In front of this man, there were only 4 maidservants. They were named after the 4 seasons of spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and were named after Qin, Qi, Shu, and Hua. Xia Qi raised her suet-like hand, and a spherical glassware appeared on her wrist. She looked at it and said, "Young master, we are still 3,000 miles away from Songhua City." Dong Hua smiled sweetly. The empty sky around her was like a peach blossom in full bloom, and there was a lot more vitality. We sneaked out in a hurry, so it's normal for the positioning to be off. 3,000 li was covered in an instant, much better than expected. And there's no rush to go to Songhua City. The martial arts competition seems to be tomorrow. It's rare for me to come out, and I also want to see the various experts of the realm of heavenly martial arts. The person who is performing the thunder elemental technique in the distance doesn't seem weak. The man stared into the distance, showing great interest. The 4 girls were shocked. Chun Qin hurriedly said, "Young master has a body of gold. We don't know what's going on with that boorish man in front. If he hurts young master, then it's hard to escape death." The man furrowed his brows, his expression unhappy. "Elder Zhu, didn't you say that I'm unrivaled below the martial supreme realm? How come I've just come out and I've already encountered someone who can hurt me?" Chun Qin didn't know how to reply. They and this young master had been cultivating in the sect for many years and rarely came out. How would they know the situation outside? The young master was more excited, while the 4 maidservants were more vigilant. The 4 of them became nervous when they saw that their young master was unhappy. Xia Shu hurriedly said, "I'm just afraid that my luck will be so bad that I'll encounter a martial emperor powerhouse as soon as I leave the house." And he didn't know the young master's identity, so it would be really troublesome. "Why don't we go to Songhua City first and wait for Elder Zhu and the others to arrive? Young master can apply to Elder Zhu to travel outside for a period of time." "That's right. I heard from the intelligence department last time that the son of the Miaoxian sect's leader was beaten to death and injured by someone outside. Now, the entire Miaoxian sect is looking for the murderer." Xiao Shu also echoed in agreement. The 4 of them were afraid that the curiosity of the man in front of them would cause a big problem. What kind of rubbish sect is the Miaoxian sect? How can they compare to my blade sect? The man snorted unhappily. These trash sects created some ranking of the North region's top 10 sections. Do they think that they can be on par with us? A bunch of simple-minded guys. That ranking has directly pulled down the level of our blade sword sect.